Thank you, Acting Chair Kudo. I wanted to report on a federal bill that got a little bit of notice in Hawaii, but probably not as much as it should have. And this was a bill introduced by Senator Schatz and a number of his colleagues called the Debt-Free College Act. And the reason I want to talk about it is because it takes a new approach to thinking about college affordability, more in line with what we have been trying to do here with the Hawaiʻi Promise program than the so-called free tuition kinds of bills. And what Senator Schatz and his colleagues have proposed is to identify an approach by which students can graduate without debt. And I'll just highlight a couple of key points about it. It is completely need-based, so that the amount of aid that a student gets is based on the ability of the family to pay, similar to our Hawaiʻi Promise program. But it goes beyond our program. Right now, our program addresses only the direct cost of education, so that's tuition, fees, transportation. This bill addresses the total cost of attendance. And that is absolutely critical for students. We know that tuition, depending on which campus you attend, may be, well, it's almost certainly in this state less than half of the total cost of attendance when you figure in room and board and other expenses associated with going to college. So this bill looks at the total cost of attendance. So it's quite unique in that regard. In addition, it does this through a state-federal partnership. And so what this bill proposes to do is provide federal funds for scholarships matching the level of the state's investment in public higher education, including the appropriations. So in a state like ours, where in spite of the fact that we are always asking for more, we are relatively well supported by the state in terms of the portion of the cost of education that they cover for the UH system. We would do quite well under a bill in which the federal government is matching that state investment. Those funds would be available again to support needy students for the full cost of attendance. And in addition, some of the funds in excess of what's needed for scholarships would be available for programs that help us increase student success. I will just say it is a winner all around. It's probably the most creative and thoughtful approach to college affordability that I have seen yet. It isn't clear that it has a chance of passage in this Congress and with this administration. But that said, good ideas like this have to start somewhere. And I think it sets out a model that all of us can be looking forward to. In that regard, and you'll get a full briefing from Vice President Young shortly about the legislature, I will say that our, as of last night, today, our Hawaiʻi Promise bill is still alive. We are still optimistic that we will receive funding at least to fully fund the community college program. The bill that is currently in conference actually is enabling for the program to also serve students at our universities as well, our four-year campuses. It is unclear if there would be funding to support the program, but it's a great step forward, and that would be an example of dollars that could be matched by a future federal program. Last comment about affordability. A key to understanding affordability is that we need our students to fill out the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA, beloved for its acronym. And this has been a challenge in Hawaii as well as elsewhere. Our Hawaii P20 Partnerships for Education runs a contest. This is the second year of it to try, and this is at the high school. We can actually get data by high school on how many students fill in the FAFSA. And I am delighted to report, and actually our communications team is even more delighted to report because they love any reason to go to Molokaʻi and shoot the kids. That Molokaʻi High School actually won this year. Oh, with the camera. Molokaʻi High School won. They had the highest percentage in the state of seniors completing the FAFSA, 73%. and they also had the highest rate of improvement in completing the FAFSA, 14.5% last year to this year. So we will be relentless in continuing. We are at about 56% of the students in the state do complete it, and we need to keep driving it up as close to 100% as we can. The data is very clear that completion of the FAFSA is correlated with greater percentage of college attendance and greater success in college for those who do attend. Let me shift a bit to really a quite remarkable honor for one of our faculty. This is Marjorie Mao. Some of you may know her. She's on our medical school faculty. She's a proud Culinary High School public school graduate, and she's been teaching at JABSOM for over 20 years. In fact, she's been continuously funded by NIH for a variety of grants for over 25 years. She is a master physician of the American College of Physicians, the first woman from Hawaii to be so noted. She is the founding chair of our Department of Native Hawaiian Health. She's the first Native Hawaiian doctor, female doctor, to be board certified in both endocrinology and internal medicine. And she has just been named a fellow in the Royal College of Physicians. This is a UK-based organization that is over 500 years old that awards and recognizes the best physicians in the world. I will also note that she is a crew doc on the Hokulea as well. She gets to travel to the UK. She's pretty excited later in the year to accept the award in honor. Shifting a little bit to finances and construction now, we had a really important moment, very low key, but it took a ton of work last week. We paid through 3 wire transfers to the correct place, slightly over $17 million to pay off the EB-5 loan. So this was a loan taken out 4 chancellors ago at UH West Oahu to help build the campus. Originally, this was to be paid out of the operating budget of UH West Oahu from tuition. It would have been a couple $1 million a year to pay this thing off. And through work with the legislature, we did receive a state appropriation to pay off the balance. It has been a delicate act. It was attached to assorted provisos that had to be negotiated. A lot of credit is due to Vice President Young for working through some very strange language in a budget bill. It was a very unusual kind of CIP appropriation to pay off a loan, but it was for construction. And we needed to do it close to, but not too early relative to the April 22nd maturity date. So we've just completed that with a lot of help from Laurel Johnston, formerly our budget director, who's now the state BNF director, Calbert, who was the budget director for the state at the time the loan was issued and is now our CFO. Mikey, who was our budget director, who was previously at the House, and Donna Kiyosaki, who was at West Oahu and is now in our Office of the Vice President for Administration. So a lot of people in multiple jobs have really seen this through. I'll just say this has a positive impact on our fastest growing campus of a couple $1 million a year in operational funding that will be available now to support students rather than pay off that loan. I want to comment on 2 construction projects just because they are examples of the new ways in which we are approaching construction rather than get multiple appropriations for a planning phase, a design phase, and a construction phase, relying 100% on state funding. The first is the Culinary Institute of the Pacific at Diamond Head. We announced $1 million donation from Kelvin Rowe, which is fantastic. Kelvin is a UH Manoa business graduate, Waipahu High School, public high school graduate, comes out of a restaurant family who has opened multiple restaurants in Hilo and on Oahu. Currently, he's the owner, founder, proprietor of the Diamond Head Cafe. This $1 million completes the first $5 million of private philanthropy, which is required to unlock $10 million in state funding for the first half of phase 2 completion. So it's a big deal. This $5 million unlocks $10 million. This was a new, I think, challenge by the legislature to say, we'll give you 20 if you raise 10. So we are now halfway there. The second $5 million fundraising for that is underway as well to unlock the second $10 million. We're about $1.5 million into that as well, and pretty confident that we can raise the other 3.5. It's actually 3.65 if any of you are interested. There are plenty of naming opportunities available should you be interested. Please see Vice President Morton, who is here in the audience. Dining room is available, I think. Kelvin named the open kitchen in the dining room, but yes. Naming opportunity for the entire facility as well, and you can help support operations. The second one I want to mention is we've talked to you several times, and Vice President Gouveia, about our belief that shifting to design build will provide us a more effective process that will help us manage costs. Our first design build contract fully executed by the university was the life sciences building at UH Manoa. We've just awarded our second one, which is for the creative media facility at UH West Oahu. That's a $33.2 million contract, and the prime is Kiewit Building Group, teamed up with a local architect, Next Design, as a design build team for us. This will be a 42,000 gross square foot facility with production spaces, a two-story sound stage, screening rooms, student areas, collaboration spaces, some flex classrooms, computer labs, et cetera, all the things you would expect to see. A small cafe, lobby, faculty offices, workrooms, a server room, since all of the content will be digital. And there's also a $3 million allowance in that base budget to procure the most current audio and video equipment as we approach completion rather than too early. We are looking at a 16 by 9 foot high resolution LED video wall, picture that, for displaying student work, and cabling pathways so that we can continue to upgrade the cabling throughout the building over time. We are looking at a completion date of fall 2020. Design this calendar year, construction starting next year, and ballpark 18 months of construction to get us live for fall 2020. And I will just say, if you haven't been to West Oahu lately and you drive by, you can take a look, but the administration and health sciences building is also coming along very nicely. If you last saw it behind a fence, it now dwarfs the fence, and it's a beautiful complement to the look and feel of the campus. Let me make one more comment, and then we're going to recognize some award winner. I had shared with you, I think last year around the time of the IUCN World Conservation Congress, that we ran a Make the Alawai Awesome contest for students of all ages, recognizing student groups for creative ideas on how to address the challenges of the Alawai watershed, which is the ahupua'a that includes much of the university, from the mountains to Lion Arboretum, through UH Manoa, all the way down to the Waikiki Aquarium, encompassing schools, condos, and the main economic driver for the state in Waikiki, trying to look holistically at flood mitigation challenges, ecosystem challenges, economic challenges, and protection of people and institutions that live there. And there were about 3 or 4 different groups, and we really got some very creative ideas from elementary school kids up to engineering students, and one of the winning college teams was actually from Arizona State University. So we did attract worldwide interest. And many of those ideas are being resurrected by a new Alawai collaboration that's pulling together in a fairly serious manner how will we as a community and federal, state, and local government really look at how we can address the challenges of the entire Alawai watershed in a holistic manner. We got a request this week from 2 East-West Center alumna from the Philippines who have asked if they can take our collateral materials for our Make the Alawai Awesome Challenge and use them in their community to mount a student challenge for themselves in their community. And in their case, they are looking at a regularly erupting volcano. How to address those challenges, bringing together disaster mitigation and community-based planning to try to understand and generate some ideas for themselves. So kind of a cool recognition for an idea that was really intended just to stimulate creative thinking by students. So with that, let me shift, and it's that time of the year when we recognize the UH nominees for the Governor's Awards for Distinguished State Service. So we have an Employee of the Year, a Manager of the Year, and a Team of the Year, all of whom are here today. So I'll share a little bit about them, and then I'll ask our Vice Chairs to join me in the corner over there as we recognize them with certificate and lei. First up is the Employee of the Year. Shannon. Come up to this is Shannon Oshiro. Shannon is the Administrative Services Manager in the College of Language, Linguistics, and Literature at UH Manoa. She has responsibility for budget, fiscal, human resources, and facilities for the college. She's a membership of the leadership team and works closely with them. She's credited with changing the leadership within the college to be more collaborative rather than centered fully on the dean. Near and dear to the hearts of those of us responsible for Manoa. They inherited a $1.4 million deficit, if you remember those days. She's worked closely with the dean and associate dean within the college on a plan to repay that debt over a 3-year period. And I'm happy to announce they are no longer in the red. Nor do they plan to return to the red. She takes a proactive approach to training the department chairs, faculty, and staff, including on personnel issues, and there has been a noticeable reduction in complaints and grievances and a better working environment. She doesn't just work within her college, but she assists the administrative services managers across the campus by organizing brown band luncheons for newly employed managers and HR staff, and she's also organized joint training on collaborative leadership for the staff in other colleges and schools on the campus. She is viewed as an asset system-wide and is constantly sought out for assistance, advice, and help. Her colleagues agree that she belongs to an elite group of university employees who are widely admired and appreciated for their expertise, their clarity, and for being generous with their ideas and time. And I am about to appoint her to yet another campus level committee with a hard problem. So thank you, Shannon. Next up, Joni. Joni Onishi is the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs at Hawaiʻi Community College. She's responsible for overall administration, management, development, integrity of all the academic programs and services, both instructional and non-instructional. She's demonstrated the ability to work out the necessary details to make progress on various projects and initiatives without losing sight of the big picture. She has, for example, implemented the UH Community College's co-requisite policy. Vice President Morton has talked about that across the community colleges, which required a complete redesign of the curricular structure for all developmental English and math classes, which has had a huge impact on the success of students across the community colleges. And this was particularly challenging, I think, at Hawaiʻi community colleges for reasons I won't go into here today. She has an uncanny ability to have various constituents work collaboratively toward a common goal, and this is a great example with faculty now teaching new curricula with the benefit of having received high-quality professional development. She's undertaken active leadership roles in many system and campus initiatives, including student success pathways, integrated student support, developmental education acceleration, exploratory majors and transfer pathways, STAR registration, prior learning assessment, and numerous accreditation and self-evaluation and improvement efforts. Beyond all of these accomplishments, she is valued for how she exercises her leadership. Every attribute you can think of that a great leader should have is how she is described: positive, humble, sincere, and always recognizing the contributions and commitments as others. As one colleague wrote, Joni is an exemplar of a life devoted to educational service. She stands in her unassuming way as the heart of Hawaiʻi Community College, serving as a true champion of our students and the Hawaiʻi Island community. And in the spirit of other duties as assigned, it should be noted that she did serve as interim chancellor, which goes above and beyond the college. So thank you, Joni. And finally, we have the UH nominee for Team of the Year. And this is a group from the Office of Human Resources and Office of System Integration. And if you'll all start coming up here. I think we have present today Jan Govea, Diane Ho, Donna Matsumura, Cliff Shinshi, Brenda Shin, and Christy Uranaka. So this team is being recognized for their huge efforts in creating the first ever human resources intranet for the entire UH system and our 10,000 plus employees. This project began 2 years ago and required extensive amounts of time that came with numerous challenges. The intranet represents the team's tireless dedication to not only create new content, but also completely reorganize the Office of Human Resources website, and also a commitment to transformation. As a step towards standardization, this intranet presents complex laws, policies, and rules in an easily understandable terms and in a step-by-step format to help facilitate a self-help culture for the public and university employees. It is our hope that this institutionalization will produce enhanced clarity and efficiency in HR matters through the university. As their nominators stated, the intranet fostered a better understanding of the lens through which the average employee views HR, allowing HR to better serve university employees. I will say that I have personally tested this. If you ever used to try to find documents on our HR website and wend your way through, my first test, I hit it in 3 direct clicks that were clearly guiding me to exactly what I was looking for. So thank you all.